Okay, so for today's lesson, we're going to be solving quadratics with the quadratic formula. So, if you remember from our last lesson, I said this is what the quadratic formula is going to be, right? So what we're going to be doing, so sometimes when we are solving quadratics, you can't solve by graphing and you can't solve by factoring. So the very last way that we can solve every quadratic is with the quadratic formula. So the quadratic formula is x is equal to negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Okay? And all we're going to do is, again, find our a, b, and c and plug it into the equation and get an answer. So first thing I need to do always is check that it equals 0. Good to go. It equals 0. So now what I'm going to do is find my a, b, and c. So my a is equal to what? 2. B equals negative 7, and my C equals 3. So from here, all I'm going to do is take these and plug it into my equation. So x equals negative b, so I'm going to put that negative. What does my b equal? Negative 7. And then I'm going to put the plus or minus the square root b squared, so negative 7 squared minus 4. My a is 2, and my c is 3, right? All over 2 times my a, which is 2 times 2, and I'm going to leave it like that. So negative is going to give me what? A positive 7 plus or minus the square root. Negative 7 squared. So negative 7 times negative 7 is 49. Then remember, I'm going to multiply these three things together, just like we did in the last lesson. So 4 times 2 gives me 8. And 8 times 3 gives me 24, so minus 24, all over 2 times 2, which is just 4. Then this is going to give me 7 plus or minus the square root. 49 minus 24 is going to give me 25 over 4. Now, always ask this, is there a square root of 25? Well, yeah, the square root of 25 is what? 5. So I'm going to go 7 plus or minus 5 over 4. Now, what to do about this plus or minus? Well, since this is just a number, what I'm going to go ahead and do is split this up into 2 equations. What this is saying is you have to do one with plus and one with minus. So I'm going to take this up here. So you need one that says 7 plus 5 over 4, and then one that's 7 minus 5 over 4. And now we're just going to solve this up. So 7 plus 5 gives me what? 12 over 4. And this one is 7 minus 5, which gives me a 2 over 4. Okay? Now just go ahead and divide these out. 12 divided by 4 gives me 3. Now, 4 doesn't go into 2, but I can simplify this fraction. So what we ask is what number can divide both these? Well, 2 can divide both these. So what's 2 divided by 2? 1 over, what's 4 divided by 2? 2. So my answer for this is x equals 3 and x equals 1/2. Okay? Okay. Now we're going to try this one. So again, how do we start this? We got to make sure I equal 0. Well, this one doesn't equal 0, so I'm going to go ahead and have to make it equal 0. So I'm going to go minus 3, minus 3. Remember, the number by itself goes at the very end. So this is going to be 3x squared plus 6x minus 3 equals 0. And again, I'm ready to find my a, b, and c. So my a equals what? 3. My b equals 6. And my c equals negative 3. And then I'm just going to plug it in. So again, I go to my equation, negative b, so negative 6, plus or minus the square root. B squared is 6 squared, minus 4. Now let's put the parentheses. 4, my a is 3, and my c is negative 3. All over 2 times my a, which is 3. Negative 6 is going to stay the same. Don't need to do anything to it. 6 squared gives me 36. Now, negative 4 times 3 gives me negative 12. Negative 12 times negative 3 gives me a positive 36 over 6. And this is going to give me negative 6 plus or minus 36 plus 36 is 72 over 6. Okay. Now you ask, is 72 a perfect square? No, it's not. So I'm going to go ahead and have to do, I'm going to have to simplify this 72. So I'm going to go down here and give me my little birthday cake. So remember, the numbers that I can divide by are 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, etc., etc. So I know a 2 can go into this, so that gives me 36. Another 2, 18. Another 2, that turns into 9. And then 3, 3, and then 3 and 1. And remember, once you get that 1, you're done. Okay? So I'm going to line up all my numbers. Here I have a 2, a 2, a 2, a 3, and a 3. And I look for my pairs. I see this and this are a pair. This 2 doesn't have anybody to pair with, so he's going to stay inside. So this is going to be -6 plus or minus. Now, remember, both these numbers are going to go on the outside, so I'll go ahead and multiply them. 2 times 3 gives me 6 on the outside. What didn't get circled, the 2 has to stay on the inside, and then we're going to divide this by 6. Now, the very last step of this is this. I have 3 numbers sitting on the outside. I have to simplify the 3 numbers in the outside. I'm never going to touch this number on the inside of the square root. So is there a number that can divide all 3 of these numbers? And what's the biggest number that can divide all 3 of these? Well, 6 can divide all of these, yes? So what I'm going to go ahead and do is divide each of these by 6. So here, I'll bring this up here. So -6 divided by 6 is going to give me a -1. I'm going to put my plus or minus. 6 divided by 6 gives me 1, square root of 2 over 1. And now I don't need this divided by 1, so I can go ahead and go like this. And then this is what I'm looking for as an answer, okay? So, and I'm going to leave it like that. That's perfectly fine. So remember, when you're using the quadratic formula, just use my equation. First, make sure I equal 0. If I don't equal 0, I have to move everything over. Then all I'm going to do is find my a, b, and c, plug them into my equation, and then I just start simplifying from there, right? Square my number, multiply these 3 things together, and then start simplifying. If there's a perfect square, good, go ahead and write the perfect square, whatever that is. If there isn't, I have to use my birthday cake method, okay? And simplify it down for me. And then the very last step here is, are there 3 numbers on the outside? If there are, you have to simplify those down. And remember, the number has to divide all 3 of these, okay? All 3 of these have to be able to divide by the number if you're going to divide out. If it doesn't, if there isn't a number that divides all this, this would have been my answer right here. But since 6 can divide all 3 of these, I had to go ahead and divide them all by 6, okay? And that's what we got for today. Let's go.